Hello and welcome to Rock Your Block. I'm your host, Tia Young, and today we have with us Dr. Jean Levinson, an accomplished scientist, medical lab innovator, award-winning high school and college tutor, and now Dr. Levinson has created a startup company, SmartNoter LLC, with a new app that aims to help millions of middle and high school kids with their regular coursework. Dr. Levinson has also agreed to host the next several segments of Rock Your Block, sharing information with us about the SmartNoter app and on education in general when it comes to math and science, and much more. The new segment is called Beyond the Classroom. Dr. Levinson, welcome to Rock Your Block.
Thank you so much, Tia. It's really a pleasure to be here. It's really an honor to be here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your being here. And I know our viewers are going to love what you're going to talk to them about today.
I hope so.
So I got tons of questions, so we're going to get right into it.
Okay.
Dr. Levinson, I know that you have reinvented yourself many times over, and each time with increasingly great success. Can you give our viewers a snapshot of your accomplishments after you completed your undergraduate science degree at UC Berkeley, when you were a PhD student at UC Irvine, and when you were a postdoctoral researcher and also a tutor at Harvard University?
Yeah, Howard is local. Right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, sure. So, I'd like to answer that from the perspective of a student. Okay, I think that the way a student should approach someone else's accomplishments is not how cool is that, but rather, what did that guy do that was actually useful? Did it help other people, or did it just help himself? And then the student should ask, is that something I could do? Is it something I would want to do? How could I put my own unique stamp on it? What can I do that nobody else can do quite as well as I can? In other words, what's my mission? Is this my mission? Is that my goal? Is that how I want to spend my time? That's what motivates people to learn and do great things. And if in fact they know they're doing important things, great things, things that are useful for other people, it's a great motivation. So what did I do? When I was a graduate student trying to earn my PhD, I discovered how DNA expands. Not just DNA of humans, but of all other multicellular organisms. I figured out why the expansion consists of simple repetitive DNA sequences. The simple repeats seem to be the raw material that can evolve into something new and useful over many millions of years. Was what I did useful? I think so. By discovering how DNA expands, I helped to expand our scientific understanding of how things evolve. That tells us something about how we humans happen to get here in the first place also, right?
That's true.
It also has practical utility because it turns out that many human genetic diseases are caused by mechanisms that result from expansion of simple repetitive DNA. So yeah, I think what I did was pretty useful and brought some new knowledge into the world. But how did I do it? Was it because I was born with the knowledge? Obviously not. Was it because I was some super genius? I don't think so. That's not what leads to success anyway. You know, what leads to success is a burning desire to do something. And I had a burning desire to answer that question, a lot of curiosity about it, and the willingness to work long and hard hours to find that answer. And so the question was, how did all those simple repetitive sequences get there in the first place? Other scientists were observing those sequences because there was a lot of DNA sequencing going on at the time. And all of that information was public knowledge and shared in databases on the internet. But for whatever reason, I was the person who just had to know why and was willing to put in a whole lot of hard work and learn by trial and error and endure all of the frustration in the lab of all the failed attempts that one has to go through to get something to work. And to answer the question became my mission. Okay, so now fast forward to Harvard. I got into Harvard as a postdoctoral researcher with a newly minted PhD because I had demonstrated as a graduate student that I had some potential to do something useful. So my research at Harvard was unremarkable. It was pretty ordinary stuff. But what was life-changing for me, and I'd like to think for a number of Harvard students, is that I had the privilege to tutor Harvard students, undergraduates in biology, and to do that for 3 years, which I just so much enjoyed. And not only did I love doing that, or more likely because I loved doing it, I was really good at it. I won a teaching award, made a positive difference in the lives of some of those students, and that really, I think, set the stage for my wanting to become an educator later on.
Right.
So now fast forward to my third success. Since I had solid credentials as an innovator, since I had worked at a famous school, I was interviewed for an exciting job in Fairfax, Virginia, at a clinic that does genetic screening and also IVF, in vitro fertilization. They were looking for someone to set up a lab to help parents who are carriers and at risk of passing on a serious genetic disease to their kids, to safely have healthy children of their own. Now, the usual thing to do at a job interview is to talk about your previous work. But before I arrived, I did my homework and learned that what they were asking me to do on this job was brand new and that there were some serious risks of a clinical misdiagnosis. And that could have tragic consequences. So I did some serious work before I arrived, drawing on my training as a lab scientist, and figured out several ways to make the technique reliable. And so for my presentation at the interview, instead of talking about my previous job, I told them how I would modify the technique that they wanted me to do and make it a reliable technique. That kind of blew them away. And they offered me the job right on the spot.
Wow.
Nobody else had done that. It was the obvious thing to do, so I did it.
Right on the spot?
Yeah, right on the spot. Yeah.
That's unique. Well, I want to go back a little bit and I've been jotting down, taking shorthand, jotting down questions here. So let me get this right. You built a lab to do something that no one else had done before, to your knowledge.
Well, that's not quite true. Okay. So it had been done before. Okay, so the pioneer was Dr. Robert Winston at Hammersmith Hospital in London.
Okay.
He had used this technique before called pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. Okay, but it was a brand new technique.
Right.
And so it wasn't reliable, and it turned out that there was a misdiagnosis at some point, and so that was a real problem. So what I did that was new was I made the technique reliable.
Right. Okay.
And I did a very good job of making it reliable. It really was reliable.
Okay. Well, from what I got from what you were saying is that you went on to help dozens of parents to have healthy children, and this was the amazing part, with 0 clinical errors over 8 years. This is very awesome and impressive to me.
Well, thank you.
And as you say, you weren't the first to delve into this type of research, but to be able to put together like a research clinic is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
The other thing, I know that we've talked a lot about, your start, where you got started from and all, and we've talked about the DNA research, and that is something that I'd love to know more on, but let's move forward a little bit.
Sure.
And get into your teaching and tutoring endeavors with high school students. You tutored students from several different high schools, most of them coming from some of the top schools in the nation. You have thousands of hours of one-on-one tutoring experience, and you have over 300 reviews with ratings averaging about 4.9 out of a 5-star system. Can you give us just a little bit about the experiences and of your tutoring and your teaching? But I really want to know about that 5-star system, what that means.
Okay. Well, the 5-star rating system, that's just how people can quickly find the best goods and services on the internet. I think Jeff Bezos is the pioneer who really made that a regular thing for consumers at Amazon. But first, I have to say that I enjoy one-on-one tutoring at least as much as any of the other interesting roles that I've had the privilege to play in the past. I'm sure the fact that I enjoy my work has everything to do with why I'm good at it. Motivation is probably the most important ingredient for success in school also. So since we're looking at ways to improve the public schools, motivation is a great place to start.
Yes.
If you want people to do great things, then give them a mission, something great that they can accomplish. Or if you can't do that, then at least give them a chance to succeed and to learn interesting things so that when they see themselves getting better and better at something and are stimulated by what they're learning, they'll want to come back for more.
Right. That's true.
Unfortunately, as it is now, the only way that we can keep kids in the classroom is by forcing them to stay there and threatening them with bad grades if they don't study.
Right.
I don't think it takes a PhD to realize that kids want to have fun and do exciting things, and they want to make their mark on the world. And unfortunately, what goes on in the classroom is just plain boring. I mean, let's admit it. If you're looking for a second major reason that kids are not doing well in school, it's that we're constantly testing the kids, and the kids are afraid of failing. Or what's far worse, they think that if they don't do well on a test the first time around, it's something wrong with them.
Right.
Okay? Probably the most rewarding moments for me as a tutor are when I show a struggling student that the problem is not with him or with her by explaining things in a clear and simple and straightforward way.
Right.
The reward for me comes when the kid says, wow, I get that. It's not just me. I thought I was stupid or something. That actually makes sense.
Right. Well, you know, we're going to take a short station break, but we'll be right back after these important announcements. So don't touch that dial.
How can you keep your wealth in good health? How can you protect yourself? Each week, the hosts and guests provide education about wealth empowerment, tax laws, healthcare basics, retirement strategies, money management, and much more.
Welcome back. You are watching Rock Your Block with our special guest, Dr. Jean Levinson. Dr. Levinson, prior to the break, we were discussing how the SmartNote app will help parents who are struggling to assist their kids with homework. So let's continue on with that discussion.
Okay, sure. Well, I founded SmartNoter because I see all this dysfunction in the public schools. Mm-hmm. And I realized that as a one-on-one tutor, I can help maybe, I don't know, a couple of hundred kids a year. Right. If I was a teacher in the classroom, I would have the same problems that every other classroom teacher has. Mm-hmm. And I would be limited by what I can accomplish. There would never be enough time to give kids individual attention.
Right.
It's a very difficult situation.
Right.
But now we have this amazing thing called the internet. And we have this, these amazing little devices, right? And all of the kids are using them, right? And they love them. And you try to take that away from them, they don't like that. Then you'll really see
what they don't like that.
Then you really see violence in the schools.
Right.
So the idea is really a simple one. Since for a variety of reasons, kids are not getting what they need in the classroom, mm-hmm. And pointing the finger of blame doesn't help, okay?
Right.
There's a lot of different reasons, okay? It might be the kids themselves, it might be the teacher, it might be the textbook. It doesn't matter. That doesn't solve the problem.
The teacher? God forbid, it's the teacher's fault.
Yeah, right. It doesn't matter. Finger pointing doesn't solve the problem, okay?
Right.
So the idea is, okay, if they're not getting what they need in the classroom, what can we give them to help support them so that they can, in fact, get what they didn't get in the classroom? And, and what the SmartNoter app is all about is a one-stop shopping center where mm-hmm. they can get every single bit of information that they need on the regular courses that they're taking in the classroom, mm-hmm. find it all in one place, crystal clear explanations, reliable content, original content, mm-hmm. so that they can just do a search and find what they missed on that particular day, or more importantly, what they might have missed last year or the year before. There's no way for kids to go back and learn what they hadn't learned in earlier grades. There's no time in the classroom to do that. Teachers, even the most dedicated teachers, have no time to do that.
Well, what I was going to say is that I know we haven't talked a lot about your organization, and I know you brought some clips and video clips on that to really tell us how it works. Okay. So can you do that now and tell us about all those great clips that you brought?
Okay, sure. Okay, so this is a screenshot of the SmartNoter app, and there are links showing that kids can go back and find the prerequisites that they need to know mm-hmm. In order to understand what they didn't learn earlier. So we combine high-quality content that's comprehensive. It covers an entire subject. We set it up in a user-friendly way for kids and also for parents who are helping them with their homework to find the information that they need right now to solve this particular problem. We don't solve their problems for them. We help them to help themselves by allowing them to search and instantly locate the relevant information in bite-sized packages and then present it in a crystal clear way so that they can have that moment where they say, oh yeah, I get that. That actually makes sense to me. And they want to come back for more, right? It's the aha moment. Okay, so then let's look at this other screenshot. The way we help parents is by taking advantage of the incredibly powerful sharing capabilities that's been built into these apps. So this screenshot shows that you can create friends lists and you can share specific items with one another. And your parents can be your friends. And so a parent can sit next to his or her kid right at the kitchen table or wherever they like to do the homework. Or a parent could easily do this from a remote location. It doesn't matter. That's the beauty of cloud-based technology. It doesn't matter if they're in the same place, but they can be looking at exactly the same content, and the parent can be finding what the parent didn't actually know about math, for example.
Like me.
Find that, find that information instantly and actually be able to help, help their own kids. And I mean, this is just such a simple thing and such an important thing, but where else can parents get that information? Right. It's so hard to do.
Right.
This way they can actually work together with their kids and support them when they're doing their homework.
Okay, all right, good. That's great.
The other things that we do is we provide free tips on various subjects, including study skills. So all of the little gems of wisdom that I pick up as a tutor over the years, I've kind of distilled them, and I put them into these study skills tips, and that comes with the app also. It's a free app, okay. And so for example, we all learned from an early age to eliminate the wrong answers on multiple choice exams, right?
Right.
Right. You learned it. I learned it.
Yeah.
When you look at that closely, it's probably the worst possible strategy for getting a good grade on a multiple choice test.
I've never heard that before. Why?
There's a couple of reasons, and there's more. First, while you're wasting time looking at the wrong answers, what you're not focusing on is what you already know, right? And the tests are timed. You don't have a lot of time to waste on the wrong answers. You're not focusing on what you know. You're not giving that incredibly powerful brain of yours a chance to tap into your memory and remember what you already know.
Yeah.
You're being distracted. Second, the wrong answers often look more likely to be correct than the right ones. That's the way they design the tests. So looking at trying to eliminate the wrong answers is actually a bad strategy. Most people don't know that. Those are the kinds of tips that we include here and when you hear it, you think, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
But if you don't hear it, you don't know it.
You don't know it, right.
So here's a video that tries to get that point across to students with a little bit of humor. Thank you for coming in today, Mr. Smith. So you want to write multiple choice tests for our company? Well, can I be honest with you? The problem with our tests right now is that too many kids are getting their answers right. That looks really bad for a testing company, you know? I mean, we need a better way of sorting out the kids. So can you tell me in a few words why you can write harder, better, more rigorous multiple choice questions than the ones we currently offer? Sure. Well, I'm really passionate about my work. I'm like the caretaker at that wizard boarding school. You know, the one who catches the students when they're out of bed. Well, I really know how to distract those those students. I can really confuse them. Okay, so can you give me a quick demo? Sure. Okay, but please, while I'm doing the demo, make sure that you don't picture a pink elephant. A pink... okay, right. I'm not seeing that because I'm no elephant. I mean, I'm no slacker. So, do I have the job?
Yeah, I really like that. That's a very powerful video.
Thank you. So then we follow up with a ridiculous example to drive the point home in a memorable way, like this. Multiple choice question. I'm supposed to eliminate the wrong answers first, right? Okay, roses are red. What's the question? Let's see. What color are bananas? Roses are red. Well, roses are red, but that's not about bananas. Okay, I guess that's wrong. Okay. Yellow with pink polka dots. Yellow, that sounds like it might be right, but pink polka dots, have to come back to that. Yellow when they are ripe, that sounds like it might be right too. Blue when they are green, well, let's see, when bananas are green, they're not ripe. A, C, and D are true. Okay, roses are red. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm out of time already.
Wow. That's kind of funny too.
Yeah.
It is. Well, how do you envision the SmartNoter app changing the face of education as we see it today? Because as I listen to you, I'm thinking, well, everybody's got a smartphone or iPhone or something. You know, why are we not using that now? Why are the teachers not using that today?
I mean, I think that is changing so quickly, and I happen to think that the future of education is actually very bright, despite all the problems. And I happen to think the SmartNoter is really just the beginning of a major change that surely must come.
Right.
When schools begin to make better use of this incredible technology that's already there, but more importantly, when millions of kids are not limited by any one classroom experience, but when they can connect with the very best and most dedicated and brightest teachers from all over the world,
Right.
and you know, tap into that knowledge and learn how to help themselves.
Right.
You know, it's not just what's my homework tomorrow, you know, what's due tomorrow. It's how can I master this material? You know, so we're trying to empower the students, and you know, I think this is just the first wave, but I have no doubt but that there will be many other things to follow.
To follow through.
Yeah.
We have just a few minutes, about 5 minutes to go, so I want to get in a couple of more questions.
Sure.
If you could give us a brief answer on, is your mission for your products and services local, or is it a global mission?
Well, for sure, global in the long run, but I live in America. America's my country. SmartNoter is starting in America. But there really is no reason that this change won't occur on a global basis. Other countries have these problems too. This is not a uniquely American thing. But it would obviously make more sense that the teachers in those other countries, you know, would come from those countries. I mean, I'm not about to tell somebody in another country how to teach their kids.
How to teach their kids, right.
But the technology can be shared and should be shared and will be shared.
Okay, that's good. Dr. Levinson, we are down to the wire, but I want you to take just a couple of minutes to tell our audience what you believe we should be doing to provide our young people with the best and brightest teachers to assure that our schools are turning out the best and brightest young minds for the future in the areas of math and science.
Math and science specifically? I mean, I happen to think that math and science are quite important, but I actually think that these kinds of apps can serve not only math and science.
Oh, okay.
But you know, I think that history is important. I think that an understanding of government is important. I think that English language skills are important.
They are.
You know, these are all the things that high school students are taking, and for a good reason.
Right.
There's no reason why the technology can't be used for all of those things. Okay.
Right.
Math and science is just where we're starting with SmartNoter when we're rolling out the courses, because I'm a scientist, and that's the subject that I know the best, but we definitely are branching out and recruiting people to help us teach those other subjects as well.
Okay, and then the teachers, is there something that maybe we already are doing to make sure that we've got the best and brightest teachers working with our kids?
I mean, you know, when finding a good teacher is so hard to do, because it's so hard to be a good teacher. You know, it really is. It's a really tough job, and you really got to give credit to all teachers for what they do. I mean, it really is an amazing sacrifice that they're making, you know, in order to do what they do.
Right.
But you know, we have to find people who can just say something in a straightforward way, in a crystal clear way.
Yes.
And when we're looking for people to create SmartNoter content, we're looking for people who can just say something simply and directly. I'm not talking about dumbing it down,
Right.
but I'm just talking about, you know, just say what needs to be said so that the kid can understand it.
Right.
And it's so easy to tell when that's happening, you know, and that's really what we're looking for. I think that that's the most important thing. If the kids succeed, then they're going to be motivated to come back for more.
Right. Well, folks, you heard the last word from Dr. Gene Levinson. I thank him so much for this enlightening discussion on the SmartNoter app and how this tool can help solve the daily academic problems of millions of K through 12 students in very simple ways. Trust me, you don't want to miss the December, February, and March segments of Beyond the Classroom, hosted by Dr. Gene Levinson. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.